welcome to Youth Code Jams, Bits and Bytes. We're starting our Code Adventure series with the Debug the Code activity. This activity will be completed in Scratch and is recommended for students in grades 3 through 6. Younger are definitely welcome to try it out. They just might need some adults' help to learn how to use the platform. Older students, this might be a little too easy for them, but they're welcome to check it out and see what they think. So without anything else to do, let's go ahead and get started. So like I said, today's activity is called Debug the Code. The goal for today is, rather than building a whole program, we're just going to build a small program that focuses on moving our sprite or our character in Scratch around the screen. The reason we picked this code is we use this a lot. We use the arrow keys a lot, or other keys a lot on the keyboard to move the characters up, down, left, or right. And we see a lot of students struggle with this because the blocks, it looks really simple, but there's some concepts they're just not aware of. So we're going to use this as an example of, if your code is wrong, how to go ahead and fix it. So I'm going to pull back up my browser window and head over to Scratch. And you don't have to be signed in for this. If you have an account, you're welcome to sign in and save it there. I'm signed in, so it will automatically save it for me, but you don't have to. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Create. If you're not signed in, when you first come to this page, there's going to be a tutorial window about here. It has a little green X over in the corner. Go ahead and click that. And then the first thing we're going to do once you've done that is we're going to go ahead and delete this default sprite. And then you're going to come down to the cat face right here and click choose a sprite. And you can choose any sprite from the gallery. It doesn't matter for this program which one you use. I like to use animals in my programs, so I'm going to stick with the fox from the activity sheet. And then step 2 is you're going to change the backdrop. So right next to the cat face, you're just going to come over to the right, and this button triggers this menu here. You're just going to choose the choose a backdrop icon, and you can choose any background you want. Let's see what I chose here. Step 2, I went with, it looks like the forest background, so let's make it look like the activity sheet. Again, I'm matching the activity sheet, you guys don't have to. Alright, so now we have our character and our background. We're going to go ahead and move on to step 3. And let's take a look at the activity sheet. So in step 3, we're going to go to the events drawer, and we're going to get a when blank key pressed, and we're going to set that first one to up arrow. Then we're going to get 3 more of those and set them to down arrow, right arrow, and space key. So let's switch back over to Scratch. The events drawer is right here on the very left of your screen. It's a yellow circle. And then right here is our when space key press block. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab 4 of those to start with. And I'm going to give myself a little space between them, but not too much so that I don't have to change my screen around. And like the activity sheet said, we're going to change one of these using this drop down button to the up arrow, another one to the down arrow. I know we're leaving one as space, and let's check what that 4th one was. We're going to use the right arrow. Alright, so that's step 3. Like I said, it's a very short activity today. So step 4 is we're going to go to the motion drawer next and get a change X by block and attach that to each of our when key press blocks. So let's switch back over to Scratch. And in the blue motion drawer at the top, we're going to look for change X by, and you'll see it has a 10 in that bubble. We're just going to grab that and attach one to each of our key press blocks. We're not going to change the value. So now, if we try to move our sprite, so if I hit the up arrow, I move right. If I hit the down arrow, I move right. If I hit the right arrow, I'm still moving right, and if I hit the space, I'm moving right, so much that my character is almost off the screen. So our program's not working how we want it to work. So that normally means our code is wrong, right? And decoding or fixing our code is a super important skill to have for coders, even with block coding. Especially since we're working online, the instructors can't always see your screen or there's technical issues, so it's important to be able to go back and look at what might be wrong. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start here with the when up arrow key pressed, and I'm just going to zoom in just a little so that these are bigger on the recording. So we're going to start here when the up arrow key is pressed. So we're moving right by 10 and we want to move up by 10. That's because of this blue block here. We said change x by 10, which is exactly what it did. We changed x by a positive number, so it moved to the right. X values are used to move our characters left and right in Scratch. We need y values in order to move up and down. So we're going to grab this change x by block from underneath our up arrow key block and just drag it back over to the drawer and delete it. And then still in the motion drawer, you're going to come down to change y by 10 and attach that one there. Now if you try to move with the up arrow, you can see my sprite, the little tail of my fox here. I'm actually going to drag him back over. My fox now moves up and right. Alright, so let's go to the down arrow next. It's kind of the same thing, right? We just said that we have to have a change y block in order to move up and down. So we're going to delete this change x blocks from the down press key. And then we're going to get another change y by 10. But this time, we need to change this 10 to a negative 10. And you're going to do that by clicking in the bubble. And so one click highlights that whole number. I'm going to click once more in front of the 1. So you can see my cursor is blinking right there in front of the 1. And then I'm going to hit the key that's to the right of the 0. So this key on my keyboard has 2 dashes on it. That's going to give me my negative sign. And the reason we need the negative number is in Scratch, a negative number moves you down, a positive number moves you up. So now if I use my up key and my down key, I go in the right direction and I still go right. So our right block, our right arrow here, this one's good. The last one we want to look at is our left direction. So starting, we didn't change the key, and that doesn't really matter, but we want to be clear in our code. So the space key isn't as definite or as concise as saying, hey, when we hit the left arrow key, we're going to move left. So that's why we want to change it to the left arrow here. And then just like with up and down, a positive number moves you one direction, a negative number moves you another. So when we're trying to go left and right, a positive x value moves you to the right, as you guys can clearly see. To move left, we need to change that 10 to a negative 10. And now if you try to use your arrow keys, they should move you in those 4 directions. And that is how you debug a program. So because this activity is so short, we're going to try the adventure mode together. We don't usually do that, but we're going to do that today. So let's find that activity sheet. And we're going to copy this block here. So we're going to get another when space key press, leave it at space, a forever loop, and turn it 90 degrees. And the goal of this block of code is that we're going to spin our sprite one time in a circle. And we're going to see why this block of code doesn't do that in just a second. So come to the events drawer and get another when space key press block. And we're just going to leave that set to space. And then go to the control drawer right underneath events. It's the light orange drawer. Grab this forever block. Whoops. Grab this forever block and attach it to our when space key press block. And then go to the motion drawer. And we're going to get this turn. This arrow means clockwise, so turn clockwise 15 degrees block and insert it inside or place it inside our forever block. And just click inside on that 15 and change it to 90. So now if I hit the space key, our goal is that the fox only spins one time in a circle. So let's watch what happens. So my fox is spinning a lot. It's not stopping. And it's going really, really fast. So we're going to press this stop icon up here so that that doesn't make us dizzy. And I want my Fox to start the right way. So I'm going to come down here to the direction and change this to 90 degrees again, so that he's facing the right way. Okay, so the problem we have here, maybe you figured it out, is we have this going on forever. We only want it to go one time in a circle. So I'm just going to take out this turn 90 degrees block and leave it over here in my workspace. I'm going to delete the forever block. And I'm going to go back to the control drawer now. I'm going to look for a loop that limits how many times this action is taken. So in this case, that's going to be our repeat 10 block. So let's grab that and attach it to our WinSpace key press block. And we're going to change that number 10. And this might not be something you guys have learned yet, but you're going to learn it today. To go in a circle is 360 degrees and is usually broken up into quarters. So that means it's divided by 4, and there's 4 different sections with main parts. So the reason we use 90 is because you're going to start at, this is 90 degrees. And to do a complete right angle in the circle, you would come down here, and this would be, so we would turn this way, and this would move us 90 more. And then we would turn once more and go up here for another 90 degrees, once more up here. So that's 3 times we've turned 90 degrees. And then once more to get back to our starting spot. So we're going to use 4, because 4 times 90 is 360, and that gets us in a complete circle. And now we're going to try that again. So I'm going to hit the space key. And it still moved really fast, which doesn't bother me for this program. But if you wanted to make that slow down, you could come to the control drawer and get this wait 1 second block. And the values in this block can be between 0 and 1. The lower the number, the faster the pause, the shorter the pause. So now if I hit that, you can see it turn those degrees a little slower. But it goes in a circle, just like we wanted to, and it only happens once. Why would we want that to happen? It just depends on what you're doing with your program. For this, it was just something fun to try out. So that's all I have for you guys today. Like I said, a really short activity, but it's not meant to give you a headache. It's meant to give you a way to go back and really analyze your code and think about what you did and the logic behind it, because code is all logic, so you really have to take your steps through it. That's it for, like I said, that's it for today. We're going to do another coding activity on Wednesday. This one's going to be in Python. So we really recommend that one for kids who have some typing experience, as in you can use the keyboard without looking at it, or at least with using both hands to type and not hunting and pecking. If you want to try it out anyways, we're going to ask that you don't try to type if you don't have the typing experience, and you just follow along with the decoding process. You'll get just as much out of it, probably more, because you won't be trying to type. So again, that activity is going to be targeted for older students, most likely middle and high school, but younger students who maybe don't have the typing experience can certainly join the call and watch the video and see how that would work for when they are ready to start working on text-based programs. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you all.